Zhou Enlai talked to us in great detail about Peru and ancient civilizations. We did not remember much, and David Ballon would reply with some help from us. The Peruvian delegation did not stay in a hotel. We were given a mansion. We started negotiations. After much foretalk, the crucial moment arrived. To help our brothers of Peru, said the Minister of Commerce, we will buy a first shipment of 150,000 tons. We looked at each other in surprise and happiness. The quantities surpassed our greatest expectations. To make sure he had it right, Minister Tantalian made the translator write the figure on a paper. It was exact. The Chinese were buying 150,000 tons and might buy as much as 200,000. Would they be interested in buying fish oil? What do you use it for? Asked the minister.
He didn't know oil is used to make margarine and cooking oil. It is also used for making soap, paint, for leather tanning, etc.
After the explanation he gave us, the Chinese minister said, then we will buy 20,000 tons of fish oil. Then we talked about how to pay. We said we sold in dollars. The Chinese rejected this option. It's an imperialist currency, they said. With what currency would they pay? In British pounds. But the British pound was losing ground and was weak in world markets. I suggested that we use the so-called golden clause and protect our deal from the British pound's permanent devaluation by using the pound's international value vis-à-vis gold. Next year, we were there, this time with General Velasco's wife. We closed another sale for the same quantities, but we could not deliver. As a consequence of the Niño current, anchovies left the Peruvian seas.
Interest in establishing commercial relations with Cuba was growing in Lima. Minister Tantalean led a delegation that included Carlos Sotomayor, General Jose Graham, a member of the President's Council of Advisors, political advisor Carlos Delgado, and some private sector leaders like Andrés Castro Mendívil, representing the Banquero Group, and EPCHA President Jose Camet.
Business leaders enjoyed Cuban hospitality, but were excluded from the political talks. I did not take part in political talks. We conducted the commercial talks with the Minister of Fisheries, a robust former member of the armed forces. Cuba was interested in fishmeal, but they were even more interested in fishing permits for their fleet. They proposed to help with their open sea fleet to meet General Velasco's plan to make Peru self-reliant in fish supplies. The Cuban minister visited Peru as part of his interest in building fishing boats in Peruvian dockyards. He signed a contract, but they were defaulted. They broke their pact during Banchero's lifetime, and also when the fishing industry, including the Chimbote dockyards, were taken over by the Peruvian government.
Carlos Sotomayor was at EPCHA from July 1970 until December 1972. From December 1972 through June 1973, he was Vice President for Sales at OISA. But the government insisted on having him as a pro bono sales advisor. OISA agreed to the request even after the military government had expropriated the fishing industry. In July 1972, Sotomayor went back to Starkist. Every morning he worked at Coisco, where he earned his salary. In the afternoons, he worked at EPCHA, where he received no pay. This industry asked Sotomayor to continue advising to EPCHA. In July 1975, immediately before General Morales Bermudez's coup d'etat, Sotomayor decided to stop advising the government. The Banquero family then put the San Fernando canning factory chain in Carlos's hands. With annual sales of over $12 million, San Fernando was Peru's largest facility of its type. In 1977, much to his regret and despite the family's request to stay, he quit San Fernando.
My son Manuel has finished his studies abroad. It's time for me to work for my own.
When Carlos Sotomayor started a marketing business with his son Manuel in 1977, South Africa, a large producer and consumer of pilchard sardines, and England declared a 5-year embargo. When he found out, Carlos Sotomayor called his friend Abe Shapiro, president of Federal Marine Limited, a marketing corporation set up by South African sardine producers. Carlos explained that Peru could develop a large sardine industry because this species had taken the place of the sardines in Peruvian waters. Carlos had known Abe ever since the beginning of Consorcio Pesquero in 1960. Abe made him his agent in Peru. South Africa needed to maintain labels in international markets, and sardines had appeared in Peruvian waters at just the right time. Thus, in only 3 years, Peru became a world-scale producer and supplier of sardines in various preparations and presentations. Production reached 12 million boxes of 48 one-pound cans. Growth was due completely to the diligent work by Carlos Sotomayor S.A., who received enormous cooperation from Superintendentes Internacionales S.A., Superin, a sister corporation managed by Ernesto Carlin Sotomayor, Carlos's nephew. Under his guidance, and with the support of 12 Peruvian and South African experts, Superin provided the training and support to turn Peruvian industry into the quality producer required by the demanding South African and English markets. Peru holds a world record to have shipped in one single vessel 11,000 metric tons made up by 850,000 boxes of canned product from 15 different companies. Some hold that we only know how to make fishmeal. We can reply by showing them the modern manufacturing facilities built by the Peruvian fishing industry. And so he did. Today, Manuel Sotomayor chairs the board of Produpesa and leads the Sotomayor Business Group. His expertise is the same as usual. He sells fish and oil meal in world markets. His life is linked to the resources of the sea, and his roots are in the air. He spends a good part of the month on a plane scouting the world for the best markets.
In 1989, during President Alan Garcia's administration, private companies were again lawfully allowed to fish anchovy and sardine for production. A new generation of fishing entrepreneurs, who had been active since the late 70s, could start redeveloping a private fishing industry. Reborn from its ashes like a phoenix bird, private industry grew into the world's largest producer and exporter of fish meal and oil.
El mayor productor y exportador mundial de harina y aceite de pescado.
To relaunch our industry using our generous seas, to protect marine species, and therefore to fish with a sense of responsibility. This is what I demand from the new generation of fishing industrialists. Our rich sea is waiting to be exploited rationally, and not just to make a fish meal, but also to provide food fish in all its varieties. Peruvians will find in the sea their greatest source of food. As fishing entrepreneurs, I feel we must have a vision of the goals we can accomplish within a given time frame. For the independence bicentennial in 2021, we should envisage a gross sectorial product worth $4 billion, with at least $1.5 billion from prime fish meal as a result of the full utilization and wise management of our resources. And every Peruvian should consume annually at least 50 kilos of fish.
Que en el Perú el consumo per cápita de pescado sea por lo menos 50 kilos anuales.
I believe that for the year 2021, we should envisage a Peruvian fisheries industry that will have reached Japan's relative level of development. It is the task of the new generation to accomplish what the men of our generation could not do. May this dream become true. But let's not forget, a vision without action is a dream. Action without vision leads to chaos. A vision coupled with action can change the world. And the country, we must recall, is nothing but its managers. There are no prosperous companies in poor countries, and there are no rich countries without prosperous companies.
The Sotomayor Group presents The Sea of Peru. Peru has the world's largest fish reserve. It's the greatest producer and supplier of protein of marine origin destined for human consumption. It has an export potential of more than 15 million cases of canned fish per year, 1,200,000 tons of fish meal, and over 300,000 tons of fish oil. It also exports canned fish for direct human consumption, as well as other products used for poultry and livestock feed. Since exploitation of its resources is still under development, these aforementioned figures should increase over the next few years. According to international and national statistics, Peru is a world leader in fishing. The Peruvian fishing industry is in the hands of 100 or so private industries and about a dozen state-owned corporations. Private corporations handle almost all of the production of canned fish. The private sector also controls 55% of the production of fish meal and fish oil. Private companies have the greatest rate of investment, reinvestment, and development. Chimbote, to the north of Lima, is the main fishing port of Peru. Together with the Samanco and Coixco Bays, it makes up the largest fishing complex in the country, since it is here where the majority of the canning, fish meal, and fish oil factories are located. Paita, further north, is second in importance. It stands out for its production and export of frozen fish, an industry which is starting to take off. Paita can produce 250,000 metric tons of frozen fish per year. The private fishing industries have the most modern technology, developed in Peru and in the most important industrialized centers abroad. During the past 5 years, private enterprise